I'm Tab, and you're officially in the lab, a place where we discuss all things beauty, motivation, and lifestyle. So if any of those subjects spark your interest, maybe you should consider subscribing to my channel. We have all kinds of videos related across those topics. So in today's video, I want to address the issue that I know a lot of women deal with, and that is, why is my makeup not lasting? Now, there are several things that we could take into consideration when it comes to the longevity of your makeup. So number one, we're going to go ahead and dive into the skincare. Okay, first things first, we need to determine what type of skin we have. Now, there are several ways that you can figure this out. If you're an oily girl where your face constantly looks like there's a lot of oil on it, and then there's going to be different procedures that you're going to take to prep your skin properly for makeup application. If you're a drier girl, if your skin is very dry and you have to constantly moisturize and overcompensate for that loss of moisture, then your skincare routine is going to look totally different. Whereas if you're normal, your skin is normal, then it's not going to take as much for you to prep your skin properly for it to last. So we have 4 different types of skin types. We have normal skin, we have dry skin, we have oily skin, and then we're going to have combination skin, which is what I have. When I say combination, that means that I am normally get oily in my T-zone, but around here I'm a little dry. So I have to prep my skin a little bit differently so that my makeup can last. So first, before we do anything else, we need to determine what our skin type is going to be. Now, Sephora actually is going to have a tool. If you're not able to determine exactly what your skin type is, Sephora actually has a tool that will assist you with this. So I don't know if you're familiar with the handhelds that they have at Sephora, where they actually scan your skin and they see, what matches you, as far as foundations, as far as concealers and things like that. But that very same tool that they use can also tell you what your skin type is. So if you're ever in the area and if you are near a Sephora, then maybe you should go in and actually get your skin scanned. That skin analysis is going to be very thorough, and it's going to help you determine what skin you have, what skincare will be proper for your skin type, and everything. The report is amazing. It literally tells you everything that you need to know about your skin, as far as what foundation matches you, concealer matches you, what skin type you are, what skincare you need to be using. Honey, it is beyond thorough. So I think that would be a very good thing for you to use as well if you're still struggling with that a little bit. So we got to determine what type of skin we have so we can know how to properly prep. So if you're a normal girly, there's several things that you can use. Now, as far as the steps to applying your makeup, you always want to first of all, do our skincare. If we've done our skincare the night before we plan on doing our makeup, then we're pretty much setting ourselves up for success. So skincare is very important because it's going to be the canvas that you begin to work with. So after we've done our skincare, the next morning we can literally wash our face a little bit if that's what we choose to do, and then we can put on a moisturizer. Moisturizer is essential. No matter what skin type you have, moisturizer is essential. Now, determining what moisturizer you need, we're going to have to figure out what our skin type is. So there are very thin moisturizers, very lightweight ones that feel like absolutely nothing on your skin. And then there's going to be the heavier moisturizers, the ones that are very rich. We try to stay away from the extremely heavy ones, especially if we're using that for skin prep with our makeup. If you have normal skin, then you're not going to have to need a heavier moisturizer. You can get away with the lightweight moisturizers. So if you have oilier skin, we're not going to want to use a heavy cream, because if we're already oily, we don't want to add a heavy product on top of our skin, because that's just going to essentially make you even more oilier. But we still have to use a moisturizer. So if you're more of the dry girlies, if your skin is extremely dry, then we're going to have to use a thicker consistency. So now that I've pretty much covered what type of moisturizer we're going to use, or what moisturizer would be good for you, I'm going to step into primers. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm combination. I get oily in my T-zone. This is where all of my oil lies. So I want to use an actual primer that's going to be matte. Now, one of my favorite primers that I have currently used and that I'm currently using today is the Oil Sucker from One Size. When I tell you that primer is everything, when I tell you it literally, honey, it literally mattifies your skin. So if you're an oily girl and you're in the market for a new primer, that would definitely be one that I recommend, because that's one that I've absolutely love. Okay, that is the one. Now if you're more on the normal side, if you're more on the drier side, then maybe we should consider using the Hydro Grip primer, which is very good. Absolutely love that one. Now I don't have a dupe for the oil sucker for the oily girls. If you have a dupe for that one, please leave it in the comments, because the one size one would be more on the higher end side. Now whereas that Hydro Grip from Milk, the dupe for that one is the e.l.f. Power Grip primer. So we do have a dupe there, at least the expensive brand. I feel like either one of those would be a good primer for you guys, so you would consider trying that out. Now we have discussed skin types, we have discussed what type of moisturizer we need, we've discussed what type of primer we need. So now we're going to jump into foundation. Okay, if we are the normal to drier girlies, most of us opt out for getting matte foundations, because if you're already dry or if your skin is normal, you don't necessarily need that type of foundation. Matte foundations are more so for the oilier girls, the ones who don't want, you know, any of that shine. They don't want the dewy look because their skin is already naturally oily, right? So you want to make sure that you're choosing a foundation that is going to be cohesive with your skin type. So if we have normal to dry skin, we probably want to opt out for a more radiant finish or a more luminous finish or a tinted moisturizer, something along those lines that's not going to have all those drying additives that a matte foundation will have. Completely up to you. If you are one of the oily girls, I'm gonna go matte with you pretty much every time, unless you actually tell me, no, I don't want a matte finish, I want more of a natural finish, and we can work around that. But typically for the drier and normal skin girlies, they can pretty much play it safe. They pretty much can do what they want to do. But if you're more on the oily side and your biggest concern is oil, then maybe we would consider doing a matte foundation, because that's going to actually dry down our skin and give us just a nice natural finish. Just saying. So you definitely want to make sure you do your research on, you know, what foundations you think would be good for you. Try them out first, see how you like them, and, you know, develop that routine. But I'm going to tell you right here, your base is going to be the most important. What you start off with is going to determine what your end result is. So we want to make sure that we're doing a great base, and we want to make sure that we're prepping our skin for success. So now that I've discussed foundations, that pretty much goes hand in hand with the concealers as well. Some of the girls love the matte foundations that paired with the matte concealers. It's really preference when it comes to the finishes. You're just gonna have to play with both of those and see which one looks best and acts best with your skin, with the foundations and the concealers. So moving on, as far as your powders, now if you're a dry girly, we want to stay away from so many powders. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to use powder foundation, powder, you know, I don't have a powder. Maybe they do have a powder concealer, I'm not sure. Actually, I think Bare Minerals does have a powder concealer. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. But you want to stay away from so much powder if your skin is already dry. You want to go out to more for the cream products, you know, the cream blushes, the cream contours. Of course, you can go back and set them with powder, but you don't want powder to be your whole makeup routine, because you're going to be extremely dry and might be a little uncomfortable. Just saying. Normal, you pretty much can do whatever, because your skin is like right there in between both of them. Now, for my oilier girlies, we want to do powder. We want to do powder because we want to make sure that all of the oil is controlled on our skin and that it's just not having way to move around. And, you know, when we do those cream blushes, when we do, you know, all of this other stuff that's more liquid essentially means glow. You're gonna have more of a glow or more of like a wet texture. Like I said, everyone has their own routine. Everyone knows what works well with them. And I stress the fact that you're going to have to get out. You're going to have to purchase some products. You're going to have to play around with them. You're going to have to go to Sephora, get you some samples and see, you know, what works for you. Because essentially, that's all that matters. What you like on your skin. But I tell you, these tips that I'm giving you right now, they're going to help your makeup to last longer. Okay, so now that we have discussed, you know, cream and powder products for different types of skin, we're going to hop into finishing products. So some of my girls like that dewy, dewy look, that's more of the normal to drier girls. They like, you know, looking moisturized. They like their skin to look natural, you know, with a little glow, you know, that type of situation. Now, for my girls who are oily, we want to opt for a matte finishing spray. Now, a couple of matte finishing sprays that I love, of course, is the One Size Until Dawn. That by far, hands down, is one of the best setting sprays in the world. Absolutely love that one. I feel like my makeup is not moving, it's not going nowhere. Like, baby, it ain't going nowhere. Love Until Dawn. I feel like that would be a good setting spray for everyone across the board, because it's not just super, to me, it's not just super drying. Like, you still gonna have that flexibility with your makeup, but it literally is going to lock it in, and it's going to give you some longevity. So if you haven't purchased or tried that product, they do sell it in the mini sizes. At least try it out, try your routine with all of these tips and tricks that I've given you, and I'm sure you're gonna have some better results. Now, back to foundation. There are foundations that are long lasting foundations. The Soft Matte from NARS is very long lasting, and it's going to give you that matte finish that you're looking for if you're an oily girl. Sorry, those are the plains. Double Wear from Estee Lauder. Honey, they swear by that stuff because they say that it is transfer resistant, and they say that most of the time, or some of the other makeup artists that I've talked to, they say that they have that in their kit for their brides. You know, if it's extreme heat, the makeup ain't moving. So Double Wear from Estee Lauder, I feel like that would be a good option for you if you want some longevity out of your foundation. But essentially, and most importantly, we want to make sure that we're setting our face. Like I mentioned earlier that, you know, more of the dry normal girls try to stay away from so much powder, but you have to set your concealers, and we're going to set our foundations as well. So a good powder, I personally prefer Laura Mercier translucent powder. That's hands down my favorite setting powder. It gets the job done. It doesn't cause any of that creasing, and I absolutely love it. I'm wearing that today as well. So I normally put that translucent powder every place that I concealed. So that's under my eyes, that's the bridge of my nose, that's my forehead area. I'm not very, Maybelline has a great finishing powder as well. That would be a good dupe to the Laura Mercier one. Laura Mercier would be the high end. Maybelline would be, you know, the more affordable one. So I love Maybelline products, have used their foundations and still use them to this day. Maybelline foundations are bomb. They actually have dewy and they actually have matte. So maybe somewhere in between there, we could find, you know, get some assistance with matching our shade. And maybe that's somewhere we want to start, you know, because it's some good stuff. I love it. I swear by it. And I still have it in my kit to this day. So on the more inexpensive end, Maybelline would be good. That's a good product. Love their products. But as far as that finishing sprays goes, yeah, you want to make sure that we're using something that's going to lock everything in. And by far, that Until Dawn is gold. Just saying. Now, as far as just a regular setting spray, y'all know I swear by the Urban Decay All Nighter. That has been my OG for a while. Now I would probably put that on when I'm in the middle of, you know, setting my powders, and that jazz, so that I can just kind of have more of a natural look. Because, you know, sometimes when you're dealing with powders, you start looking a little chalky, you know what I'm saying? And that setting spray is going to set everything back into place for you, so you won't be out here looking crazy, okay? But as a finishing spray, that Until Dawn, baby, One Size did a big one, okay? Absolutely love that product. That's one of my faves. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. I could definitely do more videos like this if you are interested. I hope that you got some knowledge from all these tips and tricks that I've given you. If you did find anything interesting, or if you did find anything beneficial to you, please give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Tell a friend and tell a friend about In the Lab with Tab so they can get some knowledge on makeup and so much more. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.